And we are live. How's everyone doing? Breakthrough Academy Entourage Funnel Chat number 13. Super exciting stuff. Glad you're all here. We have Chuck Fleischer. I'm so sorry about the pronunciation. I'm illiterate. And Chris Karika here with us so far. We're going to get some more people on, I'm sure. But what I want to do today is really quickly just go over some mentality stuff. This is probably going to be the last, no, definitely going to be the last funnel chat of 2016. So I want to talk about some mentality, some planning stuff. The majority of people here are here for one reason, right? We have courses that teach you how to build things called funnels so you can pull in leads, cold leads from social media, convert them, close them into actual transactions, and then hopefully referrals and additional commissions in the future. That doesn't come automatically, okay? We had a bit of a tussle in the group the past couple of days about, effort and should we be putting in the effort and is it too much effort to put in? Guys, no, it's not too much effort to put in to learn a skill to build your business up. I mean, asking for ROI on these things is complicated because, there's so much that comes out of it. As a loan officer especially, you can't track ROI of, relationships that you build with clients. You can't track ROI of a skill set that makes you a forefront in social media among your whole community, right? These things are intangible, but they do profit. So, what I want to do today is what I do every day. There's a lot of material, and I realize that, 150 videos, not a lot of people are able to spend 150 hours of their time before they run their first funnel, and that's fine. That no one expects you to look, watch all the videos and do all the course before you even get started. But there are places that you can go to get started. So what I want to show you today, for anyone watching, the 5 viewers on so far, and anyone else who you may have questions, I want to show you where to find whatever you need to do to get actually started, right? Like to get yourself progressing through the thing. And I'm going to share my screen to do that. But give me 1 second here, make sure I don't have anything screen here. So hold on. All right. Thank you guys for bearing with me on that. Let me just share my screen here. Share and hop over, present to everyone. If you can't hear me, just go ahead and type it in. Sometimes it's hard to hear when I'm sharing my screen. I don't know why that's the case. If I could build computers, I'd be making a heck of a lot more money than I am right now, let me tell you. Okay, so first place to start, obviously before we start, right? I mean, this is where you want, literally the first video is where you want to get started here. These 4 videos, watch them. It's not taking too much of your time, but he builds the whole funnel for you. You get to watch him do it. It's like if you're a very visual person, this is for visual people. If you are the kind of person who likes to copy and paste, and that's how you got through college like me, this right here under Facebook ads, the funnel, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different resources that you can access. The ad itself, you've got all the ad copy. You've got what the ad looks like. You've got the Foursquare shot. You've got a sample Facebook page name in case you're having a hard time naming your Facebook pages. What else do you have here? You got, jump back here. You've got your, the ad itself. No, I'm sorry. That's what we just clicked on. The lead page is what I was going for here, which, he shows you how to build this, but, this is the one that he was building kind of, square for yourself here. So you see what kind of a background to have. If you are in my area, your Temecula wine country, get the inside scoop on new homes in Temecula wine country. Instead of Michigan, you're going to say Southern California, et cetera, et cetera. The point is, this is the one right here. This is the one that converts. You click on this, you know what this looks like here. If you want to throw in a first name, last name, phone number with this, you can, right? So that's, oops, sorry guys, hold on 1 second. I just closed my screen for you guys. Sorry about that. BFA Digital, getting overzealous here. Log in, okay. The account. Let's pop it over, see if any questions going on so far here. No, we're all good to go. Yeah, so that's that one. The other one here under funnels, this first one here, the funnel review checklist. If you're like the kind of person who reads through it instead of instructions, goes like step by step by step by step, this is the one right here. It's 24 steps, I think, 23, 24 steps last time I checked, and it guides the whole process one by one by one. And seriously, guys, once you have this built out, look, you got the Aweber thing set up, you got the Wufoo thing set up, the actual ad itself, you got your follow-up going. No, hold on a second. Obviously, this is it's a start. I mean, if you got folks like Brian Norvell, John Fowler in the tribe, and who Hancock, and I think American Franklin Pinnacle. Brian's going to shoot me on this. I'm not good with the company names, but the point is they've got these really intricate follow-up systems that incorporate text messages. They incorporate Ryan's emails. They incorporate a notification for the LO or the agent to call people. Right? I mean, all this involves work. Right? I'm Franklin Pinnacle. Right? Chuck, thank you for that. I was Franklin American, I think, is one of my lenders. So Brian doesn't work there. So. The point stands that it's all a function of the work you put into it, right? Of the leads that you pull out of these things, right? I mean, I posted many videos about this in the members group back when I was just doing this for fun, but I'll say it again. These leads are not regular leads, right? They're currency. They're like little bartering chips, right? If you're a loan officer, take these bartering chips, go to agents you want to work with, and set up relationships. There's no ROI that you can track on that. If you are a real estate agent and you are like, I know Ryan Burke is doing this pretty well, and I think he's in the entourage too. If not, then you guys know him from members. But he runs ads in different parts of the country, and he builds relationships with other agents in other parts of the country based on the ad flow and the leads and things like that. So. On top of just the fact that you can convert these for yourself and do really well, the important thing to think about is these leads are, of course, a source of income for yourself. You can cherry pick the good ones. But as a loan officer, half the time you're going to send out maybe 20 leads, and you're not going to see those leads come back to you because they're going to take a long time to convert, and they're in your realtor's conversion machine. But the point is, you send that 90-day business to your realtors, to your referral partners, under the presumption they're going to send you back 30-day business. And that, you can't, unfortunately, you can't like mandate that anymore. You can't just say like, hey, I'm doing this, so you do this, because of RESPA and things like that, but you can make it a relational thing. Right. So, I don't know how much insight that gives you guys. I know a lot of people are talking about, conversion ratios and things like that. And that's great. I mean, I know, numbers wise, I know Christy Berryhill over in, it could be Berryhill. Anyway, in Dallas with Lux Locator, she has a far better conversion ratio than I have. She has like 7%, which is surreal. I have like 2, maybe 3. I mean, I on a good day. So, but the point is, it's if you're an internet marketer and you're pulling in like 1,000 leads a day, like some of these guys are, yeah, I get it. 1% versus 2%, it's going to be a huge difference in your ROI. But if you're pulling in 4 leads a day or 5 leads a day, I mean, what the hell is 1% versus 2%, right? The idea is to get these things in, build the system out, and then build your business based on the fact that you have access to this knowledge base and this way of generating leads that other people don't have. Never mind the fact that you can pull out the $1 million leads for yourself and your own team if that's what you are so inclined to do. Out here, that's like not that expensive. I've got people like Matt Skinner around here probably like looking at $1 million house. Like, what part of the California ghetto is that $1 million house in? Because we're all $3 million plus in Los Angeles. Partially true. It's crazy, but that's kind of the way it works. So speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and pause the screen real quick, head over to the comments here, see what people are saying, see if I can answer any questions here, and then come back in. So just mini rant mentality thing. Glad you guys listened to it. Thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and pop back over one. Alrighty, looks like we don't have any real questions come. Oh yeah, Chuck, I feel you. Chuck's comment was that it's taken him way too long to actually sit down and focus and get serious about this. Me too. I bought this thing probably 4 months before I actually started using it, and I was like, bits and pieces, like, hey, why isn't this one little thing working? Why isn't this one little thing working? It's not until I did the whole thing as a whole that it actually did start working. So Chuck, I feel you, man. I definitely do. All right, guys. So there's 7 of us on here. Oh, Chris, you got a question for me? Thank you, God. Sometimes I just start talking. I forget that this is a Q&A session. When targeting on Facebook, what's a good number to have within your match criteria? There's not a good answer to that, not a good single answer. And I know that that's kind of frustrating, and I do that to you guys a lot. But the reason I'm saying there's not a single answer to that is because it's really, really market dependent and dependent on your targeting. For example, if you are just running likely to move, like that one, that ad targeting thing, that narrows down like over 99% of your target. So if you've got a $100,000 metro area and you run likely to move and you only see like maybe 5,000 people in that area that are likely to move, that 5,000 is fine. I would go ahead and go for it and maybe include something like homeowners there to bring it a little bit higher. I generally don't run to audiences over 100,000, and I generally don't run to audiences below 10,000. That's just what I found as a sweet spot for me. Maybe not for everybody, but in my market, that's one of my best performing ads. Actually, was in LA, and I got, I think, like a 9,200 audience of 9,200 people at the end of it, which came out to 65 leads, which is great. So sometimes a smaller audience is going to be fine. Okay, so you're saying you want to look at a VA funnel. I get 16 in the media area, but I can certainly expand throughout the state if better. Yeah, the guys who are really doing well, and not to give away too many people's secrets there, because I know that there are people in the tribe who are doing their things, but the people who are doing really well with their VA funnels, like Mike Fisher and Alex Jimenez, and frankly some of the other guys in that group, they, like, Mike's page is Michigan loves veterans, right? It's like it's not like Ann Arbor loves veterans. Michigan loves veterans. One other person has like United Veterans of Tennessee or something like that. So with these kind of things, you're not so much there's 2 schools of thought. You can either run a Veterans of New York community page, good. So keep that. So you can either run through your like your hot homes of, for me it's Temecula. You can run your veteran ads. So that works for me because Camp Pendleton is not 1 hour away, and that's one of the biggest military bases in the country, so that works. But what works better for me is just having, like you said right here, a Veterans of New York community page and running veteran-specific ads through that, because then you can set your page's purpose in the beginning to really hone on veterans too. So your organic content you're posting will also go to them. And for this kind of a thing, just to give a testament of the organic content, there's a loan officer I know very well. His name is Brad Easermans. He's in my neck of the woods too, kind of down the road here. He's got a website that he posts about, just stuff that is important to buying a home, right? Like a home buying website. I think most of his business is organic because he's posting that content to the right people. So, yeah, run your ads. Of course, run your ads, but do not discount your organic stuff, because I think this year I made a lot more. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to do math in my head, but a lot more off the organic side than off of ads. Ads I use mainly to bring in leads, to build up my business, to get realtors to work with me. And the organic side of stuff for people who already know me and want to work with me, and we're connected. And then those are the ones that tend to convert faster and better for me. But again, the ads are really good for the relationship building as well. And so is a lot of stuff that Ryan teaches, like do live videos on your newsfeed. And this is very basic stuff you're going to find in the courses. So I'm just kind of reiterating basic stuff. But do these things, because you're going to see that I used to get maybe like 15 likes on my statuses, maybe 30 likes if I had a really good looking girlfriend at that time. That's not much. Now I'll post like a stupid joke because I do the whip effect, and I get like 60 or so likes and comments and shares, and you got the whip effect group that people are killing it doing it that way too. So takeaway there, I forgot where I was going entirely with this, but the takeaway I think was that just do both. Don't do just the one. Do both as best you can, Chris, on your veterans page, because their ads are going to be great, but you also want to engage people. Boost things for post engagement to get people to like your page and comment on it and things like that. I think you're going to see great results when you do it that way. All All right, guys. Chris, Chuck, go ahead and write your questions here really quick. I'm going to hop back over to the Facebook group because I see 9 comments here. So I'm going to hop back in briefly. But go ahead and type your stuff out here. I'll get right back to it, guys. Okay, yeah. So we have a kind of a cool question. Joe Espina is asking us here. What are some good keywords, some good detailed targeting parameters to focus on if you are in B2B? Okay, that's actually kind of a cool one because it depends largely on what you are selling. Like a merchant services guy like Dave Strausman is going to sell something very differently and have different targeting than a guy who does like apps or someone or like a company who does apps like CardTap, representatives Dana, kind of a thing would do. That being said, there is in the groups section, Joe, I'm going to go ahead and comment on the status here too, but in the file section of the group, you're going to see a complete cheat sheet of all the different keywords there. I'm not going to lie to you and act like I know your line of work better than you do. So what I'll say is look at that, find maybe like the 5 or 10 keywords that you think would apply best to who you're trying to target. Like what Ryan talks about is building your perfect client. So what does that mean? You kind of get a sense of what their interests are, what their income is, what their age is, their gender, if that makes a difference to you. And you write it down, and then you target specifically that audience because that's the one you do. And there's a lot of different ways that you can go about doing that. If you have previous clients on your page, you can go ahead and look at what they like. It's like, hey, it worked on this dude, and maybe it'll work on the next guy. Or you can use the audience insights, which, guys, the audience insights in Ads Manager is like really, really freaking cool. I mean, if you guys don't use it right now, if you have the computer open, go over there right now. Go into Ads Manager, click on your tools, and click on Audience Insights. I just discovered this like a month ago, and it's like you can do everything with this. You can find out who your competition is targeting. You can find out who your like custom audiences are targeting and liking and things like that. So it's cool. I would check it out here. Chuck has a good question here. Let me just read through it real quick. Start out about BFA. Yeah, Chris, I can show it in a second here. Let me just get to Chuck's question first. Absolutely. So too much money, those shiny objects, like throwing objects. Wait, so you're saying throwing objects at your problems don't fix them? News to me, man. How do we like this guy then? If that's the way, I'm just kidding. No, I hear you. I hear you. So that's what I'll say with Chuck, for you specifically, because you're in the tribe. You have probably. I mean, Brian's really, really great with conversion. I think he's a great salesperson. He's a great salesperson that became a manager. That's who you want as a manager, someone who knows how to sell, so you can teach the people. The worst guy you want as a manager is someone who's like a 25-year-old kid, or in my age, a 21-year-old kid. Promote the guy to vice president of a large company and just see what happens. That company no longer exists. We'll put it that way. I learned my lesson quick. So yeah, so Chuck, because you have a different set of resources here, what I'll say here is, don't be scared to reach out to me directly. That's one of the benefits of the tribe. You have access to myself, you have access to Rob Seckel, you have access to Brian, you have access, obviously, to Pat, who's all of our manager. So reach out to us, and if you got questions, you can do that. But if you're building the thing yourself, I mean, like I said, we'll talk later. I'll give you like a step-by-step, so you're not kind of scrambling through that. You're in the tribe, so you get the treatment, as they say. Chris, your question still stands. Can I show you a screenshot of the insight? Yes. Let me just go ahead and do that. 1 second, guys. Okay, thanks for bearing with here. Screen share. Let me know if you can't hear me here. Okay, that's a problem that we're kind of having with this. So, all right, you're here in Ads Manager. This should look fairly, what's the word? Familiar. Jesus Christ. Okay, so to get to your audience insights, click on your menu here with the 3 lines. go down to all tools, and then the first one here under plan, you have audience insights. It could be called campaign planner. It could be called like a few different things. But it, for me, it's audience insights. And then you can choose, one of these here based on, are you looking for like a very broad target? Are you looking to get a sense of what people who's connected to your page are interested in? Are you looking at the interest of your custom audience, like if you're retargeting, or if you have a customer list, like most realtors do have like a spreadsheet of all of their clients. You can upload that as a custom audience in your audiences like this. I'm gonna jump around a little bit. You go here, hide this so it doesn't get in your guys' way. Create audience, customer file, either import from MailChimp. We don't use MailChimp, we use Aweber, so we're just gonna go ahead and copy it in here. You do that, you match the fields here, and boom, you got an audience. And then you go here, back to your audience insights, right? And for your custom audience we just created, I'm just gonna pick one, like California realtor. Let's say I just upload all the realtors in California, for example, right? I mean, you got a bunch of stuff like, what are their lifestyle, find out what this means by just mousing over the I, relationship statuses, age, administrative stuff, I mean, page likes, location, activity, household. So, if what I don't want is at the end of all this for you to go back and say, well, I don't know what my perfect client is because I wasn't able to find the information. That's the one thing I'll nip in the bud here, because you absolutely can find that information. I mean, even if you just go a very broad target on Facebook and just target like likely to move. I mean, that's one interest, right? Or a demographic or something. You just target like all people likely to move, and it's going to give you a sense of, what their targets are. So likely to move historically can get pretty freaking expensive. Because everyone's bidding on it. So if you want to bid on the analog parameters, which are the ones that are like a proxy for likely to move. Like I always talk about this kind of a thing, like why are we, what makes someone want to move, right? I mean, it's never just honey, let's go spend thousands of dollars on a new house. Chris, let me get to that in 1 second. It's the pillow talk thing. It's going to be kind of a subliminal long-term thing, and usually the reasons that you do that are you're getting married, you're engaged, maternity, like you're gonna have children, death in the family, if you have like your children moving out, things like that. Like these different things that precipitate a change in our living situation are also things we can be targeting on Facebook. I mean, if you go, Joe Espina and some of you guys here watching, if you go to that group reference file in the file section, you have a full spreadsheet of every single parameter there. Guess what? A page of that spreadsheet is just home stuff, like they're renting, or they live in a condo or live in an apartment. I mean, I will target people all day long when I can't get my likely to move work. I'll target people all day long who live in apartments and condos, because someone who moves to a home, even if they're renting that home, yeah, they're financially stable. There's not that level of discomfort. There's not the level like, honey, we got to get the fuck out of here because neighbors are playing guitar at 2 o'clock in the morning. By the way, that was me back again in college. So I feel bad for my neighbors. Neither here nor there. The point is that, these different things, you want to, when you realize that what you're doing is solving a problem, like you're not selling something, you're actually solving a problem. You have to figure out what that problem is. You have to figure out the level of discomfort with that product, and then insert yourself in that situation as a solution, right? So you're not going to go, because you can't post an ad on Facebook that says, are you a pregnant woman who's looking to buy a house? Obviously that's kind of, not super classy, and Facebook doesn't even let you do that anyways, because that's targeted language. But the point is that you can create an ad. Are you making the move? Are you looking to buy a bigger house? Are you looking to downsize? You can even, if you have to make these very subtle changes to your area to get like a more specific lead, you can, but I would not recommend doing this until you get, until you definitively gotten no results doing it the way that we show you do it. Because let's be honest, the way that we show you how to do it works in 97% of markets in the country, right? In certain places, you have to try this, determine that it doesn't work, and then move on to something else is what I would say. So Chris, to answer your question, are Facebook ads completely different from boosting a post? Leads, funnels should be ran through the ads. Not necessarily, so, okay. Boosting a post is good if you have an established audience already on that page, right? And you have, and you want to get because it's cheaper, right? Per person, you're going to get more engagement to your own circle, is what I found. If you are starting blind, like if you're just building your first page last week and you're running ads, I may get into Ads Manager and I may say do that first before you try to boost your post, because you know, you might find you go ahead and you create the post and you can't find the same targeting. So there's the important distinction. There's when you are boosting your post, you have only access to your interests, right? You don't have access to demographics, you don't have access to behaviors, you don't have access to any of these things to target, just interest. So likely to move is out, because that's a behavior. The income stuff is out because that's a demographic. You can't target based on their credit lines. You can't target based on their net worth or anything like that by boosting. The reason you would boost is because you've already built an audience of the parameters you're interested in. Like if you want an audience of $50,000 or more a year, which is low, let's say $100,000 or more a year, you know, 25 to 45, likely to move, stuff like that. You build that audience by boosting your post, by boosting for page post engagement, get people in there before you boost your post on your actual page, is what I would say. But to start out, to get that following, to get your leads and get started right away, I would just go to Ads Manager, follow along with. I've got some videos. Ryan has obviously the holy grail of all videos that you can watch on those. But you know, there are some resources to get you started there if you're having a hard time with Ads Manager in relation to boosting a page, because it is slightly more complicated to run it on Ads Manager. I get that, but the results I think are better. The one thing I'll say is that there's something called Power Editor 2, which is it's like taking a machine gun into a knife fight, which is sometimes what you want. But there are things that you can do there that are very complicated. Like if you have if you're a retailer and you've got like a product catalog or something like that, you can target based on you can have what's called a dynamic product catalog there. But by and large, for realtors and loan officers and people who actually have jobs other than running ads 24/7, like you're not an ads manager by trade, I would say just run it on Ads Manager, right? I would just run it there and build your audiences and do that. Because hey, once you build your audiences on Ads Manager, you can go back and boost a post to that same audience, right? If you want to build that audience out of likely to move and stuff like that, you can just go boost a post to them, or you can even run a dark post or things like that. By the way, dark posts work really great. I mean, I heard a bunch of talk where it's like dark posts are dead, don't do dark posts, and there's alternatives in Ads Manager, stuff like that. I'm still doing it. It's like, maybe it wasn't making as much money as it was like a year ago, but shit, it's profitable. It's doing great. There's no reason not to dark post. Yeah. So Chris is saying, what's a dark post? So a dark post. Watch the video in BFA. Ryan explains it better than I do. Basically, it's you're posting a post organically on your page, and you're boosting that organic post, but you're moving it from your page in some way. Just, instead of me trying to talk through it in 15 minutes, watch the video that he does, because he actually builds it in front of you and step by step. And again, it's going to be a little bit different than that video, because that video is from, I think like last year, and they change Facebook every 60 days or so just to fuck with us, for lack of a better term. Sorry for the children on the call right now. I apologize for my language. Although if you're not used to that by now, you're safely saying the wrong place. So I'm not going to apologize too deeply here. So yeah, that's what a dark post is. It's like an organic post that gets boosted on Ads Manager, and that's reductive as hell, but that's best I can describe right now. Give me 1 second, guys. I see 5 comments on the thing, so let me just really quickly be right back. Hey, yeah, so we actually have a cool question again for Chuck. In case y'all can't see what he wrote here, someone told me to stop dropping F-bombs. What the fuck is an F-bomb? I don't know, man. Guess as good as mine. So yeah, Joe Espina had a good question there, which is, can you target your competitors? And yeah, you totally can. I'm rusty as hell, because I'm of the arrogant millennial generation that feels as though I have no competition in the world but myself. How true that is remains to be seen. But let me just see if I can do this for you here by sharing my screen with you. Go in here and then Ads Manager. I mean, Joe, I don't know who your competition is there. But if you are, shoot, hang on. you know, if they have, you know, let's say everyone on Facebook, for example, you know, go with the age 25 to whatever, you know, your product, I don't know, women, interest, connection, stuff like, oh, no. Maybe it's under advanced. Yeah, I mean, if your competition is a big old company and they've got their own like page, or you know, there's a lot of people that are coming into it, or I can even, you know, do a little more research on this and find the right way to do this. I feel like what I'm doing right here is kind of clicking around. The answer is probably right here in front of me, but I you know, I don't want to seem like I don't know what I'm talking about, because in this case I don't. But you should be able, I think, to find it here. These are all going to be your pages, so that's not going to work there. But tell you what, if after doing this you can't find what you're looking for, go ahead and reach back in that same status, comment on it, and then I'll see if I can work through it and find it. How's that, guys? So far, so good. Okay. Okay, so here's something else cool. Like while we're doing this, how much time do I have left? We're at okay, half an hour. We're not going to go for the full hour today. I mean, we're not really letting anybody on the call here, so we're, you know, I'm just kind of lecturing you guys. But here's something cool. Okay, so a lot of you might have seen this already, but if you haven't, I want to show you some stuff you can do with audiences. Audiences, I think, you know, Ryan, back me up on this if you end up seeing this thing. Some of the guys on here who are currently running ads. Audiences are your cornerstone, man. I mean, audiences are where everything is about. Your targeting is everything. I mean, you could have the most beautiful offer in the world that applies to a very specific subset of people. And if that subset of people do not see this offer, you're not going to make a single sale, despite the fact you've done everything else right. So, you know, traditionally what we do is we go to create an audience and then drop down to saved audience, right? And then this is what we're all familiar with. You know, we put in the age, put in the detailed targeting, like likely to move and homeowners and stuff like that, first-time buyers. This is what we're all familiar with, right? Which is great, but you also want to do some things with your pixel and with some custom audiences. So I'm not going to talk about lookalike audiences right now because it's very basic. You basically just pick an audience that you've built, right? And you expand the size of it, right? You just say more people that match this source, whatever. So you got like an audience, let's say 10,000 people right now, but you want to get to it like 400,000 people or something. You just crank that up to the top there and, you know, create the audience is what I would say. But for what we want to do, the custom audiences, check out some of the stuff you can do here, man. This is cool. So the customer file, you know, is what I just showed you. If you have a list of clientele you want to upload in and run traffic specifically to them, run ads to them, I mean, you can do that. If you've got a website and you have a pixel, and if you haven't done that yet, seriously go and do this because this is huge. Before you even run an ad, go and set up your pixel. Where this thing works, you put in your domains and things like that, name the audience. So it's like anyone who visits your website, or you can have it be like this, where if they visit a specific page but not others, like let's say, for example, they visit your opt-in page, but they don't visit your thank you page. Okay, or let's say they visit your survey page, like your Wufoo form, they don't visit your thank you page. That means they got to your survey and they never filled it out, right? So this is another piece of information that you might want to, you know, target. Or if you have people who, you know, just got to your, if you want to make it easy, anyone who visits your website, you can build an audience of them, no problem. So that's called your custom audience, but that's called website traffic. That has to do with your pixel. Now, if you're the kind of person who runs like Facebook-specific lead gen, Facebook-specific videos, just run content on Facebook, click on Facebook engagement. So there's 3 different kinds you can look at. One is video, which, guys, if you do video, this is huge because you can, for example, say people, okay, I don't know if you guys can view this because it's YouTube, so it might be kind of small, but what this says is people who have viewed at least 3 seconds of your video, 10%, 10 seconds, 25%, 50%, 75%, 95%. So if you run a video ad, right, do you think it matters if someone watches only 3 seconds of your video compared to 95%? Well, you bet it does, right? So if they have not seen much of your video, you can exclude that. If they have seen only, let's say you only want to get people who saw 3/4 of your video, you get that thing going, right? And you know, in the past, you know, you choose the video that you've uploaded. I don't, you know, have any of these on. I just have to find one in one of my pages. But the point is, you choose that video that you ran traffic to, or even if you just did a live video, you didn't run traffic to it. Let's say, because what's going to be really cool for my company, we're doing our ribbon cutting in about a month. We're going to do a live video of that, and that's going to show up here, right? And we're going to go ahead and say people who've seen a certain amount of that run more additional traffic to them. So that's really cool. I mean, so, you know, dive into it right there. Lead ads, I don't want to talk about this too much other than just to say it works as a good backup in case your lead pages is, you know, for whatever reason not converting. It takes quite a bit of setup, and I've recorded videos on this, but I realize it's not the easiest thing in the world, so don't worry about it too much. And then the canvas, again, this is probably the most complex of all the different kind of ads. And, you know, they do look pretty cool, and I think they do get some engagement, and I think there's a good reason for them. But this is those, so you ever see those ads where it's like you click on it and then like expands to full screen kind of a thing? That's what a canvas is, right? So you can build those yourself if you want, as just an audience there. Again, this is not you building a canvas. This is you building an audience of people who open your canvas. So obviously, you know, there's not going to be, well, I guess the tutorial canvases, but there's not going to be a whole lot in terms of that here. So yeah, that's what I want to show you for your audiences, because that's you know, a big chunk of it. And once you have that built out, at that point, it's like run your, you know, boost your posts to those audiences. It should work just as well, I would think. So let me go here, stop sharing my screen. Is that helpful, guys? That you know, give any insight to what you guys need to do? Or is that like kind of, you know, under the hood stuff? You know, in any case, yeah, cool, awesome, good. So, you know, guys, if there are any other questions, let me know now. Let me hop over back to the Facebook thing and just see anyone's asking me stuff. But if there's no more questions, I'll sit on for like another, you know, couple minutes, and then you know, if there are no further questions, I'll just jump down. All right, get off my soapbox. Okay, cool. So Chuck is a good question. Where do you find setting up the pixel? You know, man, because you're a tribe, not to like wave that over everyone else's head, but maybe you and I want to get together over the phone and do this one-on-one, make it a little bit easier. It's not overly complex. Not like I don't think you can do it. It's just going to take maybe more time than a guy who owns a company like you probably wants to take on something like this. So let's talk about that if you want. But let me show you where it is. If you do want to do it yourself, let me not, you know, prevent you from doing that. So. If y'all can screen it, that's good. If y'all can see it, rather. I'm going to go back over to my ads manager here. Chuck, when you're setting up your pixel, man, up here in the corner where it says ads manager, click over here. You might see it here, but if not, drop down to all tools. Over here under assets, fourth column from the left, third option from the top is pixels. You're going to click on that. Mine is already set up, and as you can see, I'm not doing as well as I thought I was. I thought I'd have more leads coming in per day. That's upsetting. Okay. In any case, I gotta figure out what my issue is. Only 4 today. Well, I guess it's early, but 3 yet. Anyway, so when you're up here, there's going to be a big old button that you're going to click, and when you click on that button, it's going to set you through a process where you answer some questions about what your website URL is that you're going to put the pixel on, and then they're going to give you a window like this where you copy this code, right? Click next. This is more complex, unique, because you don't have a cart or anything. You're just pulling retargeted leads, and you just take that thing you copied, this code right here, and when you go into like lead page or something like that, following with that video, but you're going to go ahead and copy that code as the header for that lead page. And every time some dude goes to that page, he gets thrown into this target audience here, which mine is so far 92 people strong in the past. I guess 92 leads in a week, or 92, you know. No, that's low. There's no 2 ways about that. I need to fix my system here, because this is not even leads, not opt-ins. This is just people who visited my site. So I'm not sure if I'm not running enough money to it or something like that. So we'll figure this one out. But the point is that when you get this pixel in here, you know, you can go here and obviously you set the pixel up the way that you want to, but you would go ahead and create an audience, right? Anyone who visits your page, you know, choose the domain. Let's say you have like chuckfhomes.com, which is not your URL, but let's say it is. You would do that, and you would say like, I would say past 180 if you can get it in the last 180 days, and build it. We call it Chuck F. Holmes retarget, for example, and then you'd have it in there, and you click create audience, and then it would build it, and then as you run traffic to it, that audience would just populate and get bigger and bigger, if that makes sense. So hang on one second. Yeah, man, reach out to me tomorrow. No problem at all. I hear you there. So I'm 26. Sometimes I forget where the hell my shoes are. So there's no age limit on this thing. I hear you. So cool, man. That's really great. You know, tomorrow send me a message. We'll schedule something there and we'll make it work there. Yeah, Chuck, Chris, thank you guys for coming on board. Sorry we had to kind of, everyone who's watching, though, you wanted to get on, ask your questions too, but we just had to do a minor shift in the content for today only. Next week, Wednesday, hopefully it's going to resume back to normal. I'd like to get Chuck, you're killing me, man. I swear to God. I'd like to get Rob on here with me so he can do some cool stuff next time. But again, I couldn't let him on because we had this issue we had to deal with. Again, not with Rob. Rob's awesome, but I had to make sure no one gets on for this reason. So okay, anyway, I'm just ranting. You guys have an awesome day. Thank you for coming on board here, number 13. I'll catch you guys on the 14th next Wednesday. The 14th, one of these shows. And take care, guys. Have a great one and implement. Let me know if I can do anything to help.